that you are better now, better now. You only say that cause I'm not around, not around. You know I never meant to let you down, let you down. Would've gave you anything, would've gave you everything. You know I said that I am better now, better now. I only say that cause you're not around, not around. You know I never meant to let you down, let you down. Would've gave you anything, would've gave you everything. Oh. You probably think that you are better now, better now. You only say that cause I'm not around, not around. You know I never meant to let you down, let you down. Would've gave you anything, would've gave you everything. You know I said that I am better now, better now. I only say that cause you're not around, not around. You know I never meant to let you down, let you down. Would've gave you anything, would've gave you everything. Oh. You down, would've gave you anything, would've gave you everything. You know I say that I am better now, better now. I only say that cause you're not around, not around. You know I never meant to let you down, let you down. Would've gave you.
What's up, Cornerstone Youth? Welcome to another online service here at Cornerstone Youth. I truly believe that there is no better place to be than right where you are watching this video, although maybe I disagree with that a little bit. I kind of wish we were back in our youth building, but it is what it is. I hope you're making the most of it, and I hope you're not too bored. We have an awesome service lined up for you guys. Pastor Devin, our middle school pastor, is going to be giving the message later on, but then after that, we're going to come back and we're going to do a quick recap where I will ask you guys 3 or 4 questions, and if you're with somebody, whether it's a friend, family member, if it's 2, 3, 4 of you, during this recap, I would love for you guys to be able to discuss these questions that I propose to you. And if you're watching this by yourself, no worries. I just kind of want you to run these questions through your head, through your mind, and ask yourself these questions that I propose and see what you come up with. Right now, we're going to get started with a video called Double Dream Hands, and I need you guys to participate. And if you know Double Dream Hands, you know. And if you don't know Double Dream Hands, I'm sorry, but I want you guys to participate. So I want you to stand up, find some room, make sure you keep your 6 feet apart from your neighbor, keep that social distancing in practice. And I want you guys to participate, dance along with me and my daughter, and if you're just gonna sit there and watch us, well, the least you can do is laugh at us.
Start with your heads down. Now look up slowly. Bring your arms up and bring them down. They're going to go up again, both arms, higher this time. Turn them down. Bring your thumbs to yourself and down. Point your right hand from low to high. First your right hand. Now fists to your sides.
9, 8, 7.
Now your fingers, 5, 4.
3, 2, 1.
Burst both hands. Up, punch, across. Crank, crank, stay down. Shoulder, chin, shoulder, and pat. Double dream hands, and thumbs to yourself. Punch again. Now point your right hand from low to high. Punch, crank underhanded. 2 pats, shoulder, double dream hands. Up, just like before. Crank. Stay down. Shoulder, chin, shoulder, shoulder, shoulder. Double dream hands. Again. Thumbs to yourself. Punch. Punch from high to low. Punch. And crank underhanded. Pat twice. Double dream hands. Again, up. Rack out now. Crank it. Stay down. Shoulder, chin, shoulder, and double dream hands. Now, jazz hand, up. Right hand, rain hands. Point your hand over there. Step, clap. Jazz hand. Burst. Again, left jazz hand. Clap. Clap. Dance your knees. 2-step claps. Reach to the audience. 2-step claps. Dance your knees. Left jazz hand. Left, right, burst. Like before. And point high to low. Crank your underhanded. Pat. Double dream hands. And butterfly. Double dream hands. Freestyle. Make a tight group. Punch.
Yes. We nailed it. That's right. I nailed it. I don't care what you have to say. Me and my daughter nailed double dream hands. Well, right now we're gonna go into a time of worship. Now it's gonna look different, obviously. This whole situation has forced us to get creative in ways for us to present worship to you guys. So I hope you enjoy this next video by our worship team.
What's up, Cornerstone Youth? I'm super excited to be hanging out with you guys tonight. Super excited to worship with you. The song we're gonna sing is called Be Okay. And over again, it just talks about how even in the midst of circumstances that are super unsure, that are super anxiety driven, and even sometimes when we don't know what's gonna happen, because we have God, because we have the truth of who He is and His goodness and His promises that He speaks over our life, that we truly are gonna be okay. So I hope you enjoy it. Super excited to have you. Enjoy the rest of service.
You've been so close, despite my distance. Oh yeah, and you're always good. You're always present. When my faith is fake, your love will still embrace me. I know that I can make. When my faith is fake, your love will still embrace me. I know that I can make. You're with me when I walk through fire, and even when I face the giants, in the darkness with the lights, tell the devil that he's a lie. And even when I'm in the way, and all of my broken place, give me faith where I am faithless, and I will not be afraid. I'll be okay. I'll be okay. Even when I wander, your eyes are on me. Oh yes, and you're never far. I wanna feel your heartbeat. When my faith is fake, your love will still embrace me. I know that I can make. When my faith is fake, your love will still embrace me. I know that I can make. You're with me when I walk through fire,
Hey guys, what's going on? This is Pastor Devin Lee, and I'm really excited to be with you guys today. I just want to talk to you guys today about trust, and we're going to talk about trusting in God. I want to talk about my favorite, one of my favorite scriptures, Proverbs 3, 5, and 6, and it says this: trust in the Lord with all our heart and lean not, don't depend upon our own understanding, but acknowledge Him in all our ways, and He will make our path straight. He'll direct our path, and He'll do that just for you. All you have to do is just put your trust in Him. All you have to do is just believe. And I know things may seem dark. They may seem difficult, right? The coronavirus is going on right now, and it's been the symbol of fear. It's been a symbol of mystery, and it's been a symbol of evil. People are all around and masked, and I'm sure even you today have some concern or are concerned about what's going on in our world today. In fact, Governor Newsom came out on March 19th, and he issued a state where we are supposed to actually stay inside. This is a situation where we're supposed to be inside and stay inside for some time. And this is something that has affected 40 million people. 40 million people. 40 million California residents, and we're all issued to stay at home, and that we're issued to stay at home as much as possible. In fact, there are directives that exclude businesses like grocery stores, gas stations, doctors' offices, so we're okay to go ahead and do that. But for the most part, we're inside, and so I'm shooting here for my home. Specifically, what has people and up in arms is that it doesn't have a specific order date. It doesn't have an end date, right? So this can cause doubt. It can cause uncertainty. It can certainly cause fear. It can cause our thoughts and emotions to run wild. And we don't want that, right? Especially if you're listening to the radio, especially if you're listening to the newspaper, you're filled with doubt. You're filled with uncertainty in this time, right? And it can cause fear. In fact, my daughter, this is crazy. We went out to the store, and this is actually a picture of her. We're at the store, and she grabs the last cookies on the shelf. If you look at the other items, there's nothing else there. It's just these cookies. And she looks at me and she says, "Daddy, what's going on? What's going on?" And I look at her, she looks at me, and there's just uncertainty going on in the air. And we don't know, right? And if we're not careful with these thoughts, if we're not careful with our emotions, it can lead to fear. Right? Psalms 34 verse 4 says, "I prayed to the Lord, I sought the Lord, and He heard me. He delivered me from all of my fears." And so this is a situation where we have to go to God, or else we can be filled with these doubts. We can be filled with uncomfortability. We can be filled with fear. And so we're going to talk a little bit about these uncertainties. We're going to talk a little bit about these fears. I'm going to talk about how Jesus calms the storm in Matthew chapter 8, verses 23 through 27. And basically what's going on here is Jesus, he is in the boat, and He's with His disciples, and they're hanging out. Jesus goes to sleep, and there's a big, fierce storm that comes and overtakes the boat. And we're going to pick up here in Matthew chapter 8. I want you to read along with me. Again, this is Matthew chapter 8, and we're going to look at verses 23 through 27 today. It says this: "Then Jesus got into the boat, and He started across the lake with His disciples. Suddenly, a fierce storm came upon the lake, so the waves swept into and over the boat, but Jesus was sleeping. The disciples went and they woke Him up, and they shouted, 'Lord, Lord, save us! We're gonna drown, help us!' But Jesus responded to His disciples, and He says this. He says, 'Why are you so afraid? You have little faith.' Then He got up and He rebuked the winds and the waves." That word rebuke, it just simply means to reprimand, right? he got up and he gave those winds, he got up and gave those waves a mouthful, a spoonful. And suddenly, the scriptures describe that it was a great calm. The Bible says this in verse 27, that the disciples were so amazed. They said this, "Who is this man?" they asked. "Even the winds and the waves obey him." Even the winds and the waves obey him. My main point as I think about the scriptures and I think about how the disciples were on the boat, as I think about even how they were filled with doubt, how they were filled with uncertainty, how this may have caused fear, I think about this, that God has the power in every situation, over every storm in our life. God has the power. He has all authority. He is in control over every storm, over every situation in our life. Why? Because he cares for us, right? He's in control and he's worthy. God is worthy of our full trust. So God has a power over every storm in our life, and we can go to him. We can cast all our cares upon him because we know that he cares for us. We know that he's in control and he has all authority, and he is worthy. Like I said, he is worthy of all of our trust. So we can go. And with this whole coronavirus thing, and people are afraid, we can go to him. Psalms 34:4, I sought the Lord, he heard me. I prayed to the Lord, he heard me, he delivered me from every single one of our fears. So the Lord is in control, and he has the power over every storm in your life. My next point is this, is that worry and trust just don't mix. Worry and trust just don't mix. I have an example for you. This is oil, right? And this oil today will represent worry. It will represent stress. It represents things, doubt, right? So this is worry. If this is worry, worry again means to be afraid, to be concerned, to have some kind of concern. And we don't have to worry. We don't have to fear. We don't have to doubt. But this again, in this simply oil, represents worry. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour some of this oil into this glass vase. So we're going to put this in here. We're going to just pour some in here, just a little bit. Again, this represents worry. It represents doubt, confusion, anything, any kind of worry, any kind of stressful situation. Again, this represents worry in our lives, right? I'm going to add just a little bit more here. And it's going to represent just worry. Anytime we're worried, we have concerns that we feel like God doesn't hear us, or we feel like he's not in control. These are some of these thoughts. These are some of these emotions. Some of our emotions run wild with that, right? And then this right here, I have some water. This is going to represent trust in God. And what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to add a little bit of food coloring just to give it some pop here so you can see at home. So I'm going to add this to it. It's going to change the color of our water. It's just going to give us some pop to our example today. Now, as you see, things are turning green here. So again, this oil that I poured in represents worry. This water here, filled with food coloring, green food coloring, represents putting our trust in God, right? And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to get even more bold. I'm going to mix this with the oil, right? we're going to mix it up. We're going to take a look and see what happens here. So as you're noticing, or as you can see, is that the water is under the oil. They're actually separating, right? The oil is sitting on top of the water, right? So this shows me this. One thing here is that trusting in God and worrying doesn't mix. It cannot mix, right? As we see, this is sitting on top of the water because it cannot mix. When we add the oil and we mix it into the water, it cannot mix at all, right? So worrying and trusting in God cannot be mixed no matter what. You're either going to worry or you're going to trust in God. Our hearts cannot fully trust God and worry at the same time. It's no way that it can do this, right? So whenever we're tempted to worry, whenever we're tempted to stress over certain situations, whenever we're tempted to worry about the storms that come in our lives, we have to realize that they don't mix. Either when we're in that situation, we're either going to worry or we're going to put our trust in God. And we only have two options. There's only two ways to go, left or right. We're worrying or we're putting our trust, we're putting our faith, we're putting our hope in God. And I hope that you would put your trust in God, because guess what? They're not going to mix. You're either you're going to have full trust in God or you're going to worry. So worrying and trusting in God does not mix. I commend you today to put your trust, to put your hope, to put everything you have in God, because He cares about you. He cares so much about you. Again, Proverbs 3:5 teaches us to trust in God with all our hearts. Our minds, our emotions, our willpower, they're going to say many different things. They're going to tell us to do different things. Our emotions are going to make us run wild, but we have to put our trust in God. We have to put all of our might, everything that we have in God. Dear God, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for our students that are here. And I thank you for being in control. I thank you for being in charge. I thank you for being in charge in all things, dear God. And as I just pray to you, I lift you up in this time and in this moment. I pray that you take over our thoughts, that you control our thoughts, you control our emotions. I pray that you just help us. I thank you even for your friendship that you have with us, that we can go to you. That anytime that we're filled with doubt, anytime that we're filled with emotion, anytime that we're filled with hurt or pain or anger, that we can cast our cares upon you, because you really care about us, God. And I thank you that we can put all of our trust in you. I pray for families that are affected right now by the coronavirus. I pray for people who are hurting right now in this situation, and I pray that you give them peace. I pray that you help them. I thank you that you're in charge. I pray. And I just want to say that we love you. In Jesus' name, amen. I want you to remember today that God is in control over every storm in your life. It doesn't matter any situation that you're faced with today. You could be worried. You could be stressed. He is in control over every storm that's in your life. God cares about you. He loves you. And God bless you.
And that was such a good word by Pastor Devin, and I hope it was encouraging to you as well. Like I said earlier in the video, I'm going to ask you guys a couple questions, and if there's 2-3 of you, whoever's in the room, I want you to discuss this with them. Ask yourselves these questions and then discuss them. Talk amongst yourself and see what you guys get out of this conversation. And if you're by yourself, that's no problem. I want you to think about these questions as well. The first question is this: how do you define trust? What does trust mean to you? The second question is, do you think trust should be earned or freely given? Do you think trust should be earned or freely given? The third one, this is a good one, it's this: why is it that a lot of people tend to show little trust in God except for the hard times in life? Why is it that a lot of people tend to show little trust in God except for the hard times in life? And the fourth and last question, what do you need to trust God with and why? In this season, with this everything happening around us, what is it that you need to trust God with and why? I really hope you guys enjoyed this service. We miss you guys. If you don't follow us on Instagram, make sure you do so. High school at CY912 spelled out. Middle school at CY68 spelled out. I hope you guys have a good week. Let us know if you need anything, any prayers. We love you guys. We hope to see you soon.